to the Army and Navy and the battles they have won. As to America's colors, the colors are never run.
May the wings of liberty never lose a feather.
Oh, that's from the great Jack Burton. We've used that sound effect before, but I love it. This is Tim, this is New York Giants Trade Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Want to fix the Giant offense for Sunday night. I'm going to fix it. Because, you know what? I have all the expertise in the world. I have all the opinions in the world. So I am going to sit there and fix the offense and help the dynamic duo. Of course, that is the Daboll and the Shane. They are my new Batman. They are going to be needing. They just need me. They need me. It's the boy. It's the Cape Crusader and the Boy Wonder. They need me to come in and fix this. Of course, I'm being sarcastic and facetious. I'm just going to come up with a couple ideas that I was thinking about yesterday. I did a video, I don't know, a couple days back, where maybe it was yesterday. I don't remember where I thought that maybe some of the beat writers were in the Giants' back pocket. That they were basically doing the bidding of the evil empire, also known as John Mara. John Mara really has turned into James Dolan. It's funny that James Dolan is kind of stepped back from the Knicks, but he always does stupid things that puts him in the forefront. But it's always stupid shit like getting in fights with Charles Oakley or something like that. John Mara puts himself in the middle of things, and it never goes well. It really doesn't. And also I want to talk about the fact about what the Giants' record is over the last 15 games. But a long story short, someone that covers the team DM'd me on Twitter yesterday. And I'm not going to say the person's name because I didn't ask if I could say their name. But of course, anytime someone sends you a DM, you're more than likely the anonymity is gone. But I don't work that way. And they don't work directly in the New York area. They're outside of the New York area, but they cover the team. And it was interesting because they asked directly, you know, you mentioned that some people you feel were, you know, in the back pocket of the Giants. And I gave some examples on the video, and they actually asked me directly, you know, whom do you think those people are? Now, to me, that's a beyond a loaded question. And I think the video explained itself, and I think I explained myself fairly succinctly in the video. So I don't think there's anything that needs to be addressed or additionally communicated. But I just find it interesting that someone outside the New York bubble basically wrote to me, yeah, I kind of see the same thing. You know, whom do you think these people are? I don't know. I just thought that was kind of funny. So the dynamic duo of Kafka and Daboll are going up against the Buffalo Bills. Now, our offense, as we know, is not what I would refer to as stellar right now. It's kind of stuck in neutral. And we've said this once, we've said it twice, we've said it a million times. Those that bash Jason Garrett probably need to look at themselves in the mirror because I've said it before. I think Jason Garrett's offense was predicated on the overall scheme of Joe Judge, which was eliminate Daniel Jones's ability to cause the turnover, play good defense, ball control, and then see what happens if you can't steal some of these games. And I think Brian Daboll at times, that's what he's doing. But the problem is you're sitting at 1-4. Your season is, I'm not saying is hanging in the balance because more likely you're going to go 1-5. But is there an opportunity for the Giants to strike? Now, I do think it's interesting that Pat Leonard came out yesterday and mentioned this, and I spoke about this on the live stream, but I never really got too in depth in it. And this was, but over the last 15, I said 14 games because it was last week. Over the last 15 games, the Giants are 4-10-1, no offensive touchdowns the last 2 games, and you have a $40 million quarterback hurt due to a bad offensive line. The league worst negative 91 point differential, 1-6-1 in the NFC East. How much more patience do you need to have? You need to have a lot of patience, Pat. But I get your point. I get it 100%. Everything that you have mentioned, I've said ad nauseum for the last couple of weeks, last 2 years. I keep trying to explain to people, you look at the start of last season, but the problem is nobody's looking at the second half. And when I kept bringing up the second half of the season and how we basically only won 3 games, not counting the playoff game, that the record wasn't that great when the competition got stiff.
That's what she said.
Sorry, hit the wrong button.
That's what she said.
The competition got greater, and our ability to score, our ability to play, our ability just to look good got worse. But and if you eliminate some of those wins, like I said, there was 3 wins that could have easily gone the opposite direction. You figure you should have lost the Washington game. I mean, Darnay Holmes, I love him to death. I even said it I said, you know what? Sometimes muggers get away free. And that's what Darnay Holmes did. I mean, on national, I mean, it was on national TV. On national TV, he mugged the guy. But nobody's talking about what this offense is. And a lot of this is on the offense. And that's where I'm kind of coming around with Daboll and Kafka. A lot of this is on the offense. And when the Northwestern job came up for Kafka, everyone was like, well, Kafka's going to get the job. He's leaving us. And I kept saying he's not going anywhere. Because of the fact that halfway through the season, most of the fan base wanted to have Kafka replaced. Everyone's nailing Bobby Johnson.
That's what she said.
But no one's talking about Kafka. Everyone's going after the offensive line coach, but no one's talking about the defensive line coach, Patterson, who arguably has more talent than Bobby Johnson because the defensive line was supposed to be the strength of the team, and it's getting gashed. I mean, our old buddy
King of the almost sack
has almost totally disappeared at times. Dexter Lawrence has played well at times. Nacho, I don't know. I mean, Nacho right now seems like a waste. Ashawn seems like a waste. DJ Davidson and Jordan Riley, when they're on their field, they've played average. But we're sitting there trying to blame the offensive line what was on one guy, but everything else is like, well, we'll be fine. Same thing with the special teams coach. We're blaming him for everything as well. He was a holdover from 3 regimes? All of a sudden now he can't coach? Or was it 2 regimes? I don't remember. Can't remember off the top of my head because I just ramble when I do these things. People are like, sometimes your facts are not right. No, sometimes they're right. Sometimes you're just in the wrong order or I'm not thinking. That was like the Alamo reference yesterday. Someone pointed out, well, the Alamo is in Texas. And you said Virginia. I said, no, I was actually saying Virginians, which I actually meant Tennesseans because Davy Crockett was from Tennessee. I just got Tennessee and Virginia mixed up. And actually, I was just watching the John Wayne movie, The Virginians. So my bad. That was a faux pas on my part. But can the dynamic duo go out? Can they go out and make this a big win? Can they steal one with Tyrod Taylor, without Tyrod Taylor, with Daniel Jones, without Daniel Jones, with Saquon Barkley, without Saquon Barkley? Can we do this? Can we figure this out? Can we shock the world? How can we fix this giant offense for one game? And that's my question. and that's my question. I'm not going to give you a bold prediction saying the Giants are going to rout them, but we have to look at this from a certain status point. And the status point is this: you have to keep the Buffalo Bills offense off the field. That is literally going to be you. That should be your one and only. That should be your one and only option. That you keep them off the field. And the only way you're going to do that is if you're going to run the ball. Like I said, we talked about Herman Munster. We're going to run. Run the ball, control the clock, limit the ability of the offense to have that big play capability because they got the guys that can do it. And you know what? The defense of the Buffalo Bills is a little banged up. They had some injuries in London. And that's, and that's what we got to look at here. Does anyone blame the turf in London for these injuries? And you also understand that while there is some injuries on their team, they got some horses, they got some studs. Like Mr. Gregory Rousseau, I think he's still dealing with the foot injury. He's been a monster. You got AJ Esperanza, Leonard Floyd. I think Jones is hurt. You got Ed Oliver. I mean, they got some guys. They got some guys that got some giddy up to go after the quarterback. So you would figure running the ball, maintaining the clock, old-time possession football is the way to go. especially with our offensive line and everyone we're bringing in, everything that's going on. I know people are sitting there going, Tim, but I have a feeling there's a but. There is a but. And as we said before, it's a big but. Screw that. Everything I just said, screw it. You got Barkley still questionable. You got Waller questionable. You got Daniel Jones questionable. You got Wande Robinson probably questionable. You got DJ Davidson. You got even the Scottish Hammer's out. You got Evan Neal has a questionable status right now. This is all as of yesterday. You got Brightwell, and this is probably why they went with Eric Gray the other day. But you just got to go. You got to go to Matt Brady. But screw all that. I want to throw. That's what I want. I want to go after this defense. I want to challenge the defensive line of the Buffalo Bills. I want to, like I said, I've said this before. What you need to do is you need to shake it up. You need to shock them a little bit. You need to do things that are going to allow you to run the ball, but the best way to run the ball is to throw the ball and soften up that defense. Give them something. Show them the fact that you are not scared. You will not go quietly into the night. You will not go out without a fight. You're going to move on. You are going to go deep, and you're going to go deep often, especially early on. You may have to go max protection, which will, if you go max protect, that should help you open up the deeper routes. And that should give you a few more seconds for Tyrod Taylor or Daniel Jones to throw. That, anyone that knows football understands that max protection is going to allow those long plays to develop. And you have a quarterback who knows how to move in the pocket, who knows how to step up. Now, the problem is, a lot of times with max protection, though, there's a few negatives with max protection, of course. Max protection is you're only putting a certain number of guys into the defensive backfield. Also, the fact is, with you allowing the quarterback to be in the pocket that much longer, you have more of the ability for the other team to have a sack. And also, like I said, you're giving the quarterback fewer options on the receiver. Now, it's going to work well if they go into a zone. It actually may even work well if you go into man-to-man. But you need to hold up the line. You need to do what the Tennesseans did in the Alamo in Texas. Look at that. I got it right today. Max protect. Bellinger, I've said this before. I said this yesterday. Bellinger in the backfield. I mean, any tight end, put a freaking offensive lineman in the backfield. Are you like, Tim, they're going to know you're going to throw. Good. Because you want to know what's going to happen then? When they see that offensive line, when they see Bellinger in the backfield, I'm running the draw. I'm running a delayed handoff. I'm running a bubble screen. I want to loosen up this defense. And I want to take advantage of their over-aggressiveness because they're going to be coming. They're going to be coming. I want to attack this like the Joker attacks Arkham Asylum. I don't really know if the Joker attacked Arkham Asylum. I just know that from the video game. I don't know. But that's what I want you to do. Attack. And like I said, I'm coming out of the gate. And I've said it before. Why? Sam, you're going to say, well, the other day you said you want to go 4 wide. Yeah, I'm coming out of the gate 4 wide. And then what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm just sending everyone. I'm going schoolyard. I'm just sending everyone long. And then what'll happen is, even if it's a sack, but I don't want a sack though. I just want Tyrod I just want him to chuck it. I don't care what happens on the play. I don't care if it's an interception. I don't care if it's an incomplete pass. I want the Buffalo Bills to understand that we are not afraid. I've said it before. We will not go quietly into the night. We will not go out without a fight. And then once you do that and you open up you shock them a little bit, then you go into max protection. And you sit there and say to them, well, am I going to throw? Am I going to run? Is that extra blocker coming in there because of the fact that I want to run? Use what you have. And right now, what you have, allegedly, is a large number of fast skill players. Now, we are not anywhere as quick or as fast as the team we played last weekend, because great balls of fire. Those guys are quick. Those Miami guys are fast. But use what you have. Take another thing I'm doing. I'm stopping this experiments with Wan'Dale Robinson in these 3 yards out. I'm putting Jalen Hyatt in. I'm putting Isaiah in. I'm keeping Isaiah in. I'm putting Jalen Hyatt in the backfield. Am I going to pitch it out to him? Am I going to throw it to him out of the backfield? Am I going to send him on a fly pattern right through the middle of the line? What am I going to do? That would be one of my backfields. I would have Jalen Hyatt and Daniel Bellinger in the backfield together. And you're like, well, Tim, they know you're going to throw. You don't know that. Because I'm going to mix it up. Hell, I might even hand the ball off to Bellinger. Do something different. Be bold. And mighty forces will come to your aid. We need the dynamic duo to step up and figure out something different. Because what we're doing doesn't work. The league has figured out. The league is adjusted. The league understands play action, roll out. Throw it to the tight end. The tight end's not open, you run. Throw it, play action. The league has figured it out. There's an old movie, Necessary Roughness, with Scott Bakula, who was a former high school quarterback who never went to college because his father died and he had to run his family. Paul Blake he had to go run his family farm, so he goes to the Texas Armadillos, and he, they're a really bad team because they got hit with the death penalty, but he goes and quarterbacks them. And there's a scene in the movie where they're trying to run a run. They're trying to run a play, and every time they try to run this play, the defense whacks them for a loss. And I love it because they run it twice in a row and they lose like 12 yards. And then he calls the play. Paul Blake calls the play again. And one of the guys in the huddle looks at him and goes, I think they're looking for that one, soldier. That's what teams are looking for. They know what the Giants are going to do. Mix it up. You're 1-4, getting ready to hit 1-5. And I love it because I remember content creators in the beginning of the season, and I'm not making fun of just of R0B, that the first game of the season was the most important game of the season. And if we don't win in the first game of the season, or the second game of the season, or whatever, the odds of a team going 0-3 and 0-2 go down to being like less than 10% of them making the playoffs. Now I'm seeing people post about the Detroit Lions, how they started 1-6 and finished 9-8. But wait a minute. I thought the first 3 games are the most important game of the season because statistically, the law of averages says we weren't making the playoffs. So if you're at 1-4, you need a win to go 2-4 to keep up in this division. Be bold, and mighty forces will come to your aid. Look out for that big stream on Sunday. I doubt we'll have a video on Saturday unless something happens with Daniel Jones for sure. Just tune in for Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're gonna have hopefully we'll have Rob on. We're also gonna do a special segment or a different segment with Keith the War Zone. We're gonna do a little. He's got an idea for a segment that we may do weekly, so we're gonna try it out on Sunday. So don't forget. This is Tim. This is New York Giants Straight Talk. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to ring that bell if you want to why. That'd be awesome.